Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will look at the updated playoff path for your Seattle Seahawks. They may be down, but they're not out. We'll explain everything and more coming up in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, this week with the Seahawks taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, we are in the midst of a like battle between our Chiefs channel, the Chiefs Report with Harrison Graham here, and we're a little bit behind. So I want to play catch-up this week, and I want to prove that Seahawk fans are the best fans of the National Football League, that not only do we want to beat the Chiefs on the football field, but we want to show that we're the better fan base off the field as well. So go ahead and smash that like button on today's video if you love your Seattle Seahawks, if you want them to make the playoffs, to beat the Chiefs as well. Hit that like button. We'll get started with today's show. The run to the playoffs for your Seattle Seahawks is down to the home stretch. Will they make it? Will they not? Well, these next three games are going to be very, very interesting as they take on the Chiefs this week and then follow it up taking on the Jets and then the Los Angeles Rams. But for Seattle, if they are going to make the postseason, they are going to have to be different than what they've been throughout the last several games. Seattle has lost 4 out of their last 5. You go back to the game against Tampa Bay that they lost in Germany in a game that they could have won but started out playing from behind. The Vegas game went to overtime, had plenty of chances to win that one as well, and didn't get the job done there. They did bounce back and get a win against the Rams, although that came down to the very wire. Win's a win. You lose to Carolina, another game that you got behind early and couldn't make up the deficit. And then the San Francisco game, the offense was just stagnant. They really struggled to move the football. None of the losses, they got blown out. All 4 losses of the 5, they had opportunities to win those games. And the common theme of all those losses for the Seahawks, and even in the win against the Rams, was the struggle to run the football. Sure, Kenneth Walker has had his injuries, and as have a number of running backs for the Seahawks, but in that 5-game stretch, the Seahawks have not had a single 100-yard rusher in that period of time. So let's look at the numbers from 538. The odds for the Seahawks to make the playoffs right now currently sit at 30%. So you can see not great at the moment, but we'll provide some clarity here as far as this pathway goes. If you beat the Chiefs, it is a tall task going up against Patrick Mahomes and company. Those numbers jump up quite a bit. Over double. They go to 67% to make the postseason. If you tie the Chiefs, I know ties are like kissing your sister, but it's still better than losing. Goes up to 49%. A loss to the Chiefs makes things really difficult. You go down to 23% chance to make the postseason. And if you win these next 3 games against Kansas City, New York, and Los Angeles, the Seahawks have a 98% chance to make the postseason. So basically, to put it in a nutshell here, yes, these next 3 games, it's not an easy path, but the Seahawks basically control their own destiny. Win, you're in. Win out these next 3, you're in the playoffs. So with that, time for your turn to make the call here on Seahawks Today. Our pinned comment today, you might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it and get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. Will the Seahawks make the postseason? Let me know in the comment section below if you think the Seahawks will make the playoffs when it's all said and done. Now, let's take some numbers from 538 of their chances to win these next few games. The Seahawks already lost out on the division title as the Niners clinched it with that win against Seattle last week, but still can make the playoffs as a wild card team. Dallas has one of the wild card spots, but there's still 2 up for grabs at this point. And Kansas City has quite the advantage. We're going to show you the odds later of that game, but for now, 538 gives the Seahawks about a 16% chance of winning on Saturday. The Jets game looks a lot better, 58% chance to win that one, as that will be a game that we don't really know who the quarterback is going to be for the Jets, as Mike White's dealing with a rib injury. Zach Wilson has been in and out all year. We've even seen Joe Flacco at times, so much better odds there. And then you play the Rams to finish off the season, And that game, same odds as the Jets, 58% for that one there. So very interesting. That remaining schedule for the Seahawks presents them 2 winnable games, according to the odds makers there. So with that, according to 538, the final record prediction based on playing the percentages of where they're favored and where they're not gives the Seahawks about a 9-8 record. Over 500, a winning season, and an improvement from last year. And I'm going to show you here in just a second what necessarily all that means here for the Seahawks of what a 9-8 record is and what that means for their chances of making the postseason. We'll get into that here in just a second. Before we do, though, today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet and enter the promo code Seahawks125, you'll get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. It's like ordering a pizza and then getting an extra pizza and a couple slices for free. Quite the deal that BetUS is offering just for viewers of Seahawks Today at chatsports.com/bet. You can bet on this Sunday's action between your Seattle Seahawks and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are about 10-point favorites on Saturday, and the over-under is around 49. So expecting a high-scoring affair between these two teams. What is your bet going to be? Who are you putting your money on? That's what I want to know. Go ahead and get in that comment section for me. You can be honest. If you're picking Kansas City, that's fine. If you're going with the Seahawks, let me know what your bet is going to be in the comment section. Type SEA for Seattle. Type KC for Kansas City. Get your bets in now. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. And let me know who you're betting on in the comment section below. So by the numbers, okay? We told you that if the Seahawks win out, they have a 90% chance to make the playoffs, that they control their own destiny. But then what you look at, if they win those games they're supposed to, the Jets game and the Rams game, the Seahawks then have a 58% chance to make the playoffs. So, take care of business. Yes, this week is going to be difficult against Kansas City. Everybody understands that when you travel to Arrowhead and take on Patrick Mahomes. But just do what you're supposed to those 2 games, and you're still in good shape. It's not necessarily must win this week against Kansas City, although it certainly feels that way, and you want to win this week. But even with that said, if you lose, does not mean you are done as far as that goes. Now, let's go ahead and show you the playoff picture, how things stack up in the rest of the NFC and who you necessarily need to be rooting against. The division leaders, the Eagles, Vikings, 49ers, and the Buccaneers. And, of course, you know about the 49ers already winning the NFC West. They have that locked up. The Buccaneers at that number 4 spot, it looks like them or whoever in the NFC South, it's going to come down to who wins that division. Hard to imagine any of those NFC South teams getting in as a wild card spot. Cowboys and Eagles, they're both in. Just a matter of who wins the division, and it's hard to think of the Eagles not winning that division at this point. So basically, what this comes down to, as you can see on the right of your screen, is 4 teams competing for 2 spots. The Giants in the 6th hole right now at 8-5-1. The Commanders at 7-6-1. And if you recall, the Seahawks have wins over the Giants and the Lions. They have those tiebreakers there. Haven't played the Commanders. So that's a very good sign. So with that being said, if you're trying to figure out who to root against, it's pretty easy. It's those 3 teams. It's the Giants, the Lions, and the Commanders. And their odds to make the postseason right now, as things stand, according to 538, the Giants are sitting pretty at 87% with that number 6 seed right now. The Lions are at 40%. The Commanders are at 35%. So if we take a step back and, what did we give you? The original number was the Seahawks had a 30% chance to make the postseason when we started this whole ordeal. With them, the Lions, and the Commanders, somebody's got to take that final spot, and they're all pretty close. So with that said, it's real simple. This week, in the next few weeks, if you're trying to figure out who to root against, it's the Giants, although it's a long shot, but Still root against them. Why not? The Lions and the Commanders is who you need to root against for the Seahawks to hopefully land one of those final playoff spots. Before we go, predict the final record for your Seattle Seahawks. You heard 538 earlier predict that the Seahawks will finish with a 9-8 record. What say you? Let me know in the comment section below what you think the final record will be for your Seattle Seahawks. And remember to join us coming up on Saturday for our Seahawks versus Chiefs watch party. We'll get things started about 30 minutes before kickoff, do a little pregame show, react to the game in real time. It is going to be a dandy, folks. You will want to be here. We'll do our live postgame show as well. Seahawks and Chiefs right here, live here on Seahawks Today. You will not want to miss it. We will see you then. Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today.